Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Myself Saha Khadim and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today our topic of discussion is paraphrasing. To write an effective article, first you should have to understand what is paraphrasing. By definition, paraphrasing means you collect an idea or a piece of an information from another author's writing and convert it in your own words. So paraphrase actually helps you to re-express a specific idea or a piece of information from a specific source. So when you do a paraphrasing, you should have to consider two critical aspects of this activity. First one is you should have to understand that you need to at least convert the original source information into your own words up to 90%, because it is not acceptable that you convert the information into your own words into up to 40 to 60 or maybe to 70%, because if you do that, it shows that you have a considerable amount of writing which is copied from an original source, and it is not acceptable. So this is the first point that you should have to consider. And the second point is that you must acknowledge the source of the information. So for that you should have to give a proper reference or to give the credit to the original writer of that piece of information. So in academic writing, when a student doesn't have a reference, it shows that the student is expressing his or her own idea or his or her own comment. And if what you are writing is not your own idea and you are not giving it the credit to the original source by citing his name and year and the journal where the information is published, so you are doing an unethical practice which is not acceptable in research writing. So in this video I will give you 3 examples to clarify it, what is a good way of writing paraphrasing and what is a bad way of paraphrasing. So these 3 examples will help you to identify what you should have to do and what you shouldn't do when you are going to paraphrase the information. So let's suppose this box shows that we are taking an information from an original source. It is a copy paste information. I haven't changed the information, I have just put it in a box here. And I have given the source from which I have collected that paragraph. So this is an original source of text. Now here is a first way of paraphrasing. Now here you can see that all the words which are bold and in red color, these are the words that I have converted or rewrite, and all other parts are actually identical to the original source of a text. So you can pause the here and make a comparison between these two paragraphs. Okay, so you must have to read these paragraphs so you understand that only the red and bold words are changed. So this way of paraphrasing shows that you have done maybe 20 to 30% rewriting, which is not acceptable, as I have mentioned here that at least 90% you need to write the original sentence in your own words. So here you can see that maybe it's about 20 to 30% rewrite the information, which is not acceptable. So if you do a paraphrasing in this form, it shows that your data is plagiarized. So here is another example of paraphrasing. you know, in this example you can see the bold words and red and bold words are more as compared to paraphrasing one type, but still you have a considerable amount of information which is copied from the original source. All the black words are copied from the original source. So when your instructor or the journal in which you are going to publish your paper put that sort of information in, turn it in software which is used to identify the plagiarism from the article, so it will show maybe 50% of the plagiarism, which is not acceptable for any journal to publish your paper, or for your university to accept your dissertation or thesis, whatever you are doing. So this way of writing is also not acceptable. So keep it in your mind that sometimes students used to say that, ma'am, we have changed the information, we are not copy pasting the information. It shows that you have done a work on it, but still there is a room for improvement for you people. So now I am sharing with you the last type of paraphrasing. So in paraphrasing number 3, in this example all the material is rewrite, okay, and give a credit to the source as well, uh, and only the words which are bold and marked red in this paragraph are copied from the original source, and all other words are that are written in a black format are actually and black and are actually a rewrite by the writer. So here it is the good way of writing. Why? Because firstly the source from which the data is collected is properly cited here, as I have mentioned in the start of this session, that you need to consider two critical aspects. First, you have to write at least 90% of the sentence in your own word, and the second point is to give the credit to the source. So here in this example first given the credit to the source by giving the name of the author and the year in which that source, that information was published, and after that all the other words that are written here are actually rewrite from original source, and only the words which is not feasible or possible to change are written in an original form, like community service or community is computer system. These are the words which a person cannot rephrase in his words, because these are the terms which are normally used in our life. So these sort of terms will remain similar or to the original source, but all the other information here is actually converted in onwards. And another important point is that here you know, each sentence with a phrase make it clear that you are not writing that information, but you are explaining the idea that you have collected from an original source. Like if you see at the start of every sentence, you can see that the student has write it this information in his own word. Like here he is giving the citation of the from which the information is collected. Then it is mentioned here to support their argument, means to support the argument of Tucker and his colleagues, and they also give 3 examples of community. So this sentence also shows that the student is not writing or not giving these 3 examples, but these 3 examples are given in an original source of information. So these are the points that you need to consider when you going to write a research work. because if you are not going to consider these two aspects, then then it is assumed that you are doing an unethical practice. So that's all for today's session. I hope you understand how you can do a paraphrasing to write an effective piece of information. If you think that you have learned anything from this video which add meaning in your life, or in the way you are writing, or making your assignments or your dissertations, then please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for giving your time. Fi aman Allah.